everything. We're here with another episode on WendyInTech, and I'm super excited to be back, you guys. I miss you guys so much, and I'm happy today that we're going to have a great conversation with the one and the only Jeharré Shepherd. He's in the building today to give us a little bit of advice on being an entrepreneur in this industry, within the tech industry, as well as how he got his career started up. So let's hear his story. So how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Yourself?
Doing good, good. But this is just also this is not planned. This is not planned.
White was an accident. Yeah, we laughed about it.
So yes, can you let them know a little bit about yourself? You know, how you got started, where you went to school.
So born and raised in Houston, Prairie View A&M. You know, plan on staying in Houston. I love it here. I love doing business here. The black community here is excellent. I know a lot of people are moving down here, so you know I'm all for it. It's a little full, but we love the people coming down. How I get started in tech, I've kind of always been, you know, kind of the more nerdy guy. But you know, I take it in stride because, you know, it's paying off now. Tech's one of the most leading industries. You know, I saw that coming, you know, years and years and years ago. I started fixing computers, fixing whatever, fixing the video games. So, you know, now that I'm making money off of it, you know, being able to help people in my community, you know, I'm getting a win-win from it. So that's kind of the basics.
Yeah, that's really big. I mean, to have that trade-off skill to fix any type of technology, a computer, a hardware, a drive, or a phone is just crazy. So I really want to get into your business a little bit. So what inspired you yourself to start King's Computer in Houston, Texas?
It's kind of a branch of, you know, one of the many nuances of technology that I'm going to say mastered because, you know, you work on stuff every day. But the person to person dealing with computers, you know, everyone needs one. You really need multiple. And I kind of look at it as a tool, especially, you know, whatever part of tech that you're in, you're going to be on a computer 24/7. It's like driving your car. You're not going to be able to get nowhere. You're not going to be able to get nothing done without your computer. So, you know, I took that and I kind of spun it off from where I originally started off in tech. I did start off as, you know, more of a lower level tech. You know, I went up to MSPs and, you know, done server level work and things like that. But it's kind of more of a passion. You know, I get to working with people. Definitely like working with people, day-to-day interactions like this.
Yeah, for other people, can you explain what MSP is?
MSP is a managed service provider. So more or less you work at a company that provides whatever IT or security services to multiple companies. Last company I was at, we had maybe about 35 clients on the board. So, you know, you're taking calls, you're taking tickets off the board, general IT work. You know, some are more tiered depending on where you're at. But that's a very, very, you know, very huge career that you see in a lot of IT techs.
Perfect.
MSP.
I mean, kudos to you. This is really black excellence. I say this all the time, but this is really black excellence to just have this type of skill acquired and you're giving it back to your community. I mean, you could just be applauded. You know, you should really get like a gold medal or something.
I mean, we're all working, so you know, we're all working. I mean, you have some accomplishments on your own. Bringing, you know, black techs together. There's not a lot of podcasts that, you know, that really focused on people that, you know, like we were saying, we had a discussion earlier. You know, people actually getting stuff done. A lot of people, you know, I'm not gonna say clout chasing, but they're doing it for an image.
Right.
And like I said earlier, I do it for, you know, the satisfaction. I have a lot of clients that, you know, even when I'm taking my downtime or if I'm focusing on my 9 to 5, you know, I'm doing both. So, you know, it's not even about where you want to be. Wendy's got a lot of stuff going on. So you got to have, you know, more than one thing cooking at a time.
It's really like dedication. You have to have that certain drive to really want it and go get it. Like I tell people all the time, you got to be hungry in this industry and have to have that passion, drive, and that hunger. So I do appreciate all you're doing so far for the black community and for, you know, those that are maybe looking for affordable services you do offer. So could you walk us through the services that you currently offer for your business in the Houston, Texas area?
Any computer, laptop, desktop, not powering on, or, you know, anything, any parts, I got you. Think of it like a mechanic service. You take your mechanic, you know, you take your car to the mechanic, you bring your computers to us. Desktop, laptop, Windows, Apple, doesn't matter. Hard drives, we were covering. I personally don't do the phone repairs, but I have a business partner that will do phone repairs. He'll pull up on you, you know, anything tech related, you know, if I don't do it myself, I have a direct partner that can do it. So
Yeah, so you offer services that Geek Squad offers, right? What makes you stand out from Geek Squad and other tech companies that may be doing the same thing?
Geek Squad,
I hate them, but
I mean, it is what it is, but it's more like a commercialized thing. Like you're gonna go there. Most of them, like, they're not really studying this. They're just, kind of at work. Maybe they do know some, personal, tech background or something like that. But I've studied this for years. I'm probably like going like 10, almost 12 years of experience with repairs. So, you're not gonna get that, from somebody at Best Buy.
no, for sure not. I mean, I remember when I was first started in tech, I took my laptop to Geek Squad, and I was just no comment, but it wasn't a good experience. So within the market that you're currently in, do you have any challenges that you tend to face with your company?
It's always challenges. Nuance. What do you do when it's slow? Like, what if you do if something, doesn't work out? But that's when your experience comes into play. I'm never really worried about, not getting the job done right. That's, once you get to a certain level of professionalism and experience, that's never, that doesn't even come across no more. Sometimes it's really about how do I, translate to the customer that this is what they need. This is really the best service for you. Sometimes you got to convince somebody that even though this may be the more expensive option, it's better for you for XYZ reason. If you're a content creator, I have laptops starting at 150 for most people. If you're a content creator, I really wouldn't recommend that you spend 150 on a laptop. So, I'm going to meet you where you're at.
Right.
I got, student discounts and, XYZ, all of the above, but I'm going to make sure you get something that you need. The worst thing I'm going to do is, try to put you in something that you don't want or that's not going to work out for you. That's worst case scenario.
Yeah, that's very good because a lot of students now are going to, like, for example, the high school students are not prepared enough for college, right? Some people can't afford to get a laptop. Some people can't afford to get a tablet or better yet, maybe even a phone. You know what I'm saying? So if you're offering services for a laptop for 150 and there's a college student out there that needs to get that, I mean, this is the perfect place to get this information. We're out here to help the community and get you guys involved. And I know that's a very expensive thing to buy. I mean, my laptop was $800 and it's just a Microsoft Surface Pro. So I'm like, those things are very expensive. And if you can offer 150 for a student for a laptop, I mean, that's like, kudos. You're not going to find that price in Best Buy. You're not going to find it in Walmart.
I mean, and you'd be surprised. You meet people where they're at. Some people, you're doing more business. You got, a lot of stuff going on. An $800 laptop, that fits your budget, that fits, your need, your price range. But a student where, you're eating ramen noodles every day.
Trust me, I remember that. I remember eating that chicken ramen.
150, and I cut deals for, I live near TSU. I'm in Third Ward. So, I cut deals for students like all the time. That's, if you need something, we can work it out. We got something for you. So.
Most definitely. And I want you guys to really watch this, and I want his business to really just blow up the rest of this year because this is very big to me, especially being in the Third Ward, the central heart of where we have a lot of Black people in our community. We have got to be able to help each other out and build up our brand and build each other up. If there's a service out there for a student that y'all please refer him to them. Like, let's get them started up. Let's help each other out. We got to start doing that more so, for real. I really think that's very important as we continue moving on and progressing in the tech industry and any other industry. I think we need to start helping each other.
It takes a community. It's one of the few areas that we come together, because everybody needs tech. Everybody wants those tools, but there's a lot of, it's almost like I'm not gonna say a tech desert, but there's a lack of resources, especially in those areas.
Right. So do you feel like there's some type of misconceptions in regards to the tech services or like the tech industry?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you get what you pay for. If something, you got to realize, especially like you're buying a more expensive computer, it's not going to be cheap to fix. If you're buying something that's cheap to fix, the price to get it repaired could, outweigh what you paid for it. So, there's a lot of misconceptions that, you just order some parts from China and did something. Like, nah, it's much more than that. It's a lot of nuance. It's definitely doing it right and doing it wrong. And I think, you may go to, Harwin and get something done and it may work for you, but, unless you go to somebody that's an actual professional,
and that, you know, that's gonna tell you, you know, the best option for you.
Right.
A lot of people go places and they get, you know, railroaded into stuff that doesn't work for them, or, you know, that just they didn't even know was an option. So if you come to me, or, you know, somebody that looks like you, you're gonna most likely gonna know something more than when you just walked in, you know, oh, we'll fix this.
I
You
wish
get it
there was
done.
more people like you when I was going to college. I mean, when I was going to college and I was about to get a laptop for school, and I had already declared my major. I was going to school for computer science. I was like, that's what I'm going to study. I went to Best Buy and they had me buying like it was like, oh, you need to get a Dell or HP if you're gonna be doing this type of thing because
Yeah.
you know the processor, i5, etc. And then when I'm in the classes, I see people like with MacBooks and things like that. I feel like that's kind of a misconception on which OS you should be using when you first go to school because eventually you're going to use every single OS or operating system, knowing the man by the time you get in your career. Like I think people just try to make you buy whatever is going to be beneficial for like that's why. Like,
I mean, for sure.
they had me spending a whole bunch of money on a laptop.
No, you wanna consult and you know, consult. I'm not gonna say I'm just gonna consult. I'm gonna consult with you for free, pretty much. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna charge you to tell you not to buy something, or you know, if you're trying to buy something from me and you're like, oh, I see that this at Best Buy, right? If you see it at Best Buy right now, go. You know, if that works for you, go get it. I'm gonna tell you, you know, I probably would or wouldn't get it, but you know, if you see it, you know, it's on you. But it's 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 almost funny what you say, because I see these things, you know,
All the
oftentimes.
time.
Yeah, oftentimes people buy something like, oh, I thought because I was gonna do some videos, I was gonna get a,
No.
you know, $1,500 MacBook, and you don't even know how to download a program on it.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy. You can't even open up you don't even know what Safari is. They're like, oh, how do I find Google on there? Like, come on.
Or, oh, I just want to link my phone on here, so that's why. I mean, you could do that, but
It's
it's a learning curve to the tool, for sure.
it's also too. I feel like for our community, like as you know, as the Black community, we kind of don't have that knowledge, right? A lot of us don't have the knowledge to come up to even know about these type of things. So we just go in the store and when someone's telling us something, we just going with it. I mean, but you have enough knowledge. I mean, I would have came and asked you honestly if I was going to school, because you know, in our industry, there's a lot of things that are required. It's the technical the pieces and the non-technical pieces like the soft skills, right?
Oh,
And I'm pretty sure you have enough soft skills. So with your current role, do you have really good customer service skills, or you had to learn a lot along the way?
You know, I started off, you know, working little like Office Depot, little customer service jobs. My uncle has a law firm, so you know, I worked there. You know, calling people. You have to have, you know, a law firm, a little certain more level of professionalism. So that was never a problem with me. You know, most IT or tech people, they're like, oh, they're just these quiet little nerdy guys in the basement. I have no problem talking to people. I'm not like the most, you know, the life of the party, you know, the center of attention like that. But soft skills are definitely important. And I've seen where, in a lot of cases, your soft skills can overshine your lack of technical ability. Like, I can think of a few instances. I'm not going to say any, but I've seen instances where techs have almost gotten themselves in trouble because they wanted to be smart instead of, you know, just relating to the customer and getting something done.
Right.
You could be right, and then you can have a happy customer. Sometimes those aren't the same thing, you know. Sometimes you got to definitely focus on the client because the client's paying the bills. So.
No, factuals. I agree with that. You said nothing wrong. So with your entire business and your background at PVMU, can you share with us a success story that you have where, you know, maybe you did something significant for someone during your college experience, or maybe in your business for a client?
I can think of it all the time. Like we were just talking about recovering data and getting stuff back. I've seen, you know, people lose, you know, the whole family pictures, baby pictures, things like that. You know, that's part of why I do it. Just to see those small, you know, satisfaction pieces of joy coming from people. Any just particular instance, I can't think of one right now. I can't, you know, it's just so many, you know, it's so many interactions I get with people, and you know, I can say I'm always looking out. So I would say almost every interaction, you know, I try to make it unique with everybody.
No, for sure.
I'm not gonna say I can almost remember every client, but I can say every client, you know, you get that unique interaction. So I get a lot of repeat business and things like that. You know, most people, they don't even, you know, think to go elsewhere. So I'm grateful for that.
No, for sure. I really do hope like your business like blows up and you need to hire so many more employees.
I want to keep it manageable though. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I
you
want
could
to keep
definitely
it
it'll be
manageable.
manageable for sure, but
Yeah.
I know, God willing, you're gonna definitely blow up and take over. Especially with Houston now. Do you think that Houston's kind of becoming like a tech market in so say, with the change in the entire industry focusing on AI and
I think now the tech is pushing Houston like more in the 21st century.
okay, I agree because
Like,
like I was in Virginia for a bit, and when this was
mhm,
like in the like 2018 ish, I was on that
mhm.
time. I was in Virginia, and to me, DC was always a tech hub. I always knew
Yeah.
DC for having all the latest jobs, tools, people to get connected with. You had to be in DC.
I think
The
Houston now is becoming more of that.
mhm,
More recognized with like Tesla moving out to Austin area.
yeah,
I
I
think like
agree.
HP has
It's a
something in
headquarters in Springs.
yeah in the
Yeah,
Woodlands
like
or
yeah.
something. So it's definitely being seen. I think a lot of that's bringing Houston into the 21st century. A lot of those people they're used to certain amenities and stuff, and like living a certain way in the city. So it's some good coming out of it. It's cleaning stuff up. It's building up properties and things like that. It's prices of course are gonna go up, but if it brings more opportunity, I still think Houston is it's a very livable city for
It's
sure.
definitely very livable. My this has nothing to do with like this is like a off the record question.
Yeah.
How do you feel about even the oil and gas industry right now? Like with everything happening with latest relation to tech, like how do you think they're going to transition with that? Because we're really big on oil and gas here.
Yeah, I
We're known
mean,
for it.
and I think it's one of those things that it's kind of I would assume it's probably transitioning because
Mhm.
there's always going to be money in oil and gas, but is it probably an expanding sector?
Mhm.
I would say probably not, but the tech, AI, energy and things like that, all of that stuff is kind of already been in Houston. So I think with a little polish on it, bringing it more modernized and bringing like all these different ways they do stuff for in San Francisco and stuff like that. All these headquarters moving here, it'll it'll bring a shift. And I would say we're probably right in the middle of it.
I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in 5 years. I have this conversation with some of my friends. Like we just have talks about just like AI, but to hear your responses, I kind of like to. We'll take it off the record, have more of a detail about it because
Yeah.
I want to see what happens, and also too, like how are you going to prepare your business, right? Like people coming into the city, they might need. You don't know, you might
A
boom
lot of
up.
my,
I'm telling you.
but like I said earlier, a lot of people aren't from Houston. Most people I see and interact with, they're
Mhm.
not from Houston.
They're
So
like from
it's
California or like.
any
Oh
and
wow.
everywhere. California. Guy I was working with just the other day. He was out of like it was either Mississippi or Alabama or something. So he was here. He also works in tech, more of like on the I think more on the sales side. But
Mhm.
it's situations here for everybody. So depending on what you're looking at, I can see why a lot of people are coming here, uh, business and personal wise. So
And we have a lot of land, for housing too. So that's a
yeah.
big market for real estate. So
Oh
it
yeah.
makes sense. But like with your business and everything going on, do you have like any current partnerships that you do with other businesses, or you just kind of like it's just King Computers, Houston, Texas. That's what it's
I
gonna
just
be.
nah. I mean I do my own thing. My
Mhm.
main business partner. Shout out to Mobile Tech. My
Okay.
partner Brian. I mainly do computers. He focuses on phones. So between that dynamic, we it's like almost a Kobe and Shaq for us. Um, and if we can't get it, we got a small conglomerate of people. Uh, but no, it's just me.
Okay. Kobe and Shaq, LeBron
You
and D
want to
Wade.
have you want to have a go-to though. You want to have somebody you can bounce some ideas off
Mhm.
of. You want to keep with people in the same space and industry. You want to if you don't have anybody in that space and you're trying to get into it or you're already there, you need to find some people because you can be missing out on a lot of resources, a lot of opportunities,
Mhm.
and it can just be right under your nose. Especially being here, like especially if it's tech, it's here. Somebody's already doing it. Somebody that looks like you, somebody that already has experience and knowledge, similar stories. So you don't have to look hard. So
I think
so
what's really
it's
important though for you, y'all gonna hear me on this. You need to go to TSU and you need to have a segment with the students there in the engineering department or computer science department or computer systems technology, and you need to really showcase your talent and your business to them so they can have approach on how they can maneuver themselves in the industry, right?
I have a small TSU following. Again, I'm in the area, so
We're gonna really, it's gonna be our mission to make sure that you do that.
I went to Prairie View, but it don't matter. I made the drive to Prairie View to meet a bunch of students.
That's perfect. I mean,
I've traded stuff, and
let's do that more often too. And it's a lot of conferences that go on in Houston. Will be beneficial for you to have your business there, so people don't know about what you do locally and how you're handling this, especially as a Black man in tech. Also, just being a tech leader yourself. No more hiding behind the curtains. You need to come out. like we need to see you everywhere. So, with that being said, what advice do you have for anyone out there that's whether a student, someone in tech or transition in tech that is looking to be an entrepreneur in this business, right? And they maybe have some technical skills and want to build them up. What can you give them as advice?
Keep working, for sure. Things are gonna change. Things are gonna migrate, but you gotta keep going. I've seen a lot of change just in like I'd say 10 years of experience, maybe just a little bit more. So I never let one thing stop me. As soon as something new came out that was adjacent to what I'm working on, I learned it. So you gotta be with that. We talked about it earlier. We said having strong, tangible, like workable skills. In a lot of ways that, you're gonna go across people that have been doing stuff since they were 7 or 10 years old, and they're gonna have way more experience and miscellaneous knowledge about it. But if you go in with the right confidence and stand on what sometimes you can outshine them just on your presence alone. So don't let what somebody else got definitely count away from what you're doing. So focus on you as long as you're strong in what but definitely make sure you got those skills to back it up no matter what.
No, I agree, y'all. That was real. That was authentic. And that's WendyInTech. So thank you guys for coming today, listening to my guest here. He's an amazing person. Please make sure you guys go like, share, subscribe, and also follow his business at King's Computers, Houston, Texas.
HTX.
Yeah, HTX.
We have a pop-up on the screen.
Yeah.
On the screen.
Make sure you guys follow and share. And thank you guys for your support so much. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.